been a big weekend for Sydney Sweeney fans. I can tell you that much. After she hosted SNL, she is dominating the internet. I am waiting for Trump to say something in praise of her performance. I feel like Donald's a fan, would be my guess, of her thespian skills. But she's all, if you go, you open up any website, anything, they're all, she is the ultimate clickbait right now. A lot of people getting a lot of mileage on the websites out of posting Sydney Sweeney from her SNL performance over the weekend.
I sometimes, Buck, am astounded. But by the way, for Sydney Sweeney fans, or people who don't know who she is at all, I believe she initially got famous on the HBO show Euphoria. She hosted Saturday Night Live over the weekend. There was a previous Sydney Sweeney scandal because I believe her parents are big Trump people. And on her mom's 50th, I think it was her mom's 50th birthday. In fact, I would not be stunned if some members of the Sweeney family listened to the show. I believe on the 50th birthday of her mom, and Crew can correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I remember there was quite the internet kerfuffle because she attended, I think, as one would expect, her mom's 50th birthday, and there were a bunch of MAGA hats there. And the left lost its mind over the idea that an actress could have family members who were big Trump supporters, as you would well imagine might happen.
Clay, they wore Blue Lives Matter T-shirts and MAGA hats.
But
Yeah.
what I'm astounded by, Buck, is I have in my whole career, the entire foundation of Outkick is to support the First Amendment. And I remember I got banned for CNN by saying I support the First Amendment and boobs. BOOBS is memorably spelled by what was the girl's name who was the host at that time?
Brooke Baldwin.
Brooke Baldwin was very offended by me. But you say Brooke
to give you a
Baldwin's
sense of what a
actually-
small world it is, I lost a bet and she took me to a Soul Cycle class once.
But you said Brooke Baldwin's actually a really good person, like that I would like her if I met her one-on-one.
She's cool. You would like her, yes.
Yeah. So she was offended by me saying that I like boobs in the First Amendment.
She was offended because she knew Jeff Zucker was watching from his perch, and she had to be offended to keep the big paycheck coming. We all know how the game goes.
But here's the thing. Outkick, the site that I sold to Fox a couple of years ago, doesn't have a crazy worldview. It's we like sports, we like beer, we like pretty girls. And what's astounding to me, Buck, in general, is the idea that a man would like sports, beer, and pretty girls. It became unacceptable to the extent where a company like Bud Light would actually be giving money and endorsement power to a man pretending to be a woman. And I look at all this and I say, the world hasn't changed. Men still like pretty girls, sports, and beer, and nobody else will cover things like we do. And it blows my mind.
I knew a very curmudgeonly wealthy entrepreneur in New York City, and he used to say about the sexes that biology wins or biology is undefeated, meaning throughout history, people, the urge to reproduce and to reproduce with your preferred mate and all this is very powerful and continues. And I do think it's interesting that someone who, in this case, this actress, it's a shock to have a very, now she's, how do we say this so we don't offend any of the folks? Because she's very endowed.
She's got great boobs.
Okay,
let's just be honest.
So yeah. So anyway, what Clay says. So, but then she's very pretty and has a very voluptuous figure. Voluptuous, we could say. She's voluptuous.
You're going to sound like such an old man. She's a very comely lass.
Yeah, absolutely. She's got a nice figure. That's what my grandmother used to say. He has a nice figure.
Quite buxom.
Yeah. If my grandmother said someone had a nice figure, it was impressive. Anyway, the truth here though is that this is in any way like a revolution online for people to see that it's pretty funny when you think about it. But also, you're not supposed to just celebrate like an incredibly beautiful actress. Somehow that's the left treats that like it's sexist or like you're just elevating looks. Meanwhile, OnlyFans is like a multi-billion-dollar industry, and women's beauty in destructive ways is being commoditized and really cheapened. and their sexuality, instead of women's female beauty being elevated as something that is aspirational and also a bedrock of building civilizations, right? I mean, you go back all throughout history, men want to have pretty ladies and make babies and have families. And that we can't talk about, but OnlyFans and sex workers is now the parlance we're supposed to use. Something
We
very
would all
twisted going on.
we would all still live in caves if not for pretty girls. That is my life philosophy.
I co-sign that one. That is true.
And to your point, also, it's just not acknowledging what the truth is. I think if you look at Instagram, imagine tomorrow that they said on Instagram, nobody can pose in bikinis. You have to have like long sleeve shirts on and only long pants. Instagram would lose 98% of its overall value. I'm not sure there's ever been a time where good looking women are making more money off being good looking than right now. And you're not supposed to acknowledge that it's going on. Again,
But do you
it's
see
we
what I
live in a
mean?
backwards world.
If you use beautiful women to sell beer in a commercial, that is the left, the feminists get angry. But if women actually sell their bodies
Yeah.
online with, then they think that's a sex worker.